Okay, welcome to today's podcast. And today I have another two special guests. Let me introduce them. And maybe when I'm done, if they want to, they can say something about themselves as well. But I have Yvonne and I have Micah. Yvonne has been a part of our ministry for many, many years. And recently she recently we found out that she's going to be heading up our online university, RMIOU. Yvonne, if you want to, you can share a little bit about that. And I've got Micah, who is part of our Cape Town team, and she helped easier to set up our Wise Women retreat. That was just such a blessing for so many women. So I'm really excited to have Micah here as well. And Micah can also just share a little bit. But Yvonne, just share a little bit, not too long, about the RMIOU, because that's quite new. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so we probably will start a little bit in April with some things, but the grand opening is in May. And what we want to do with RMIOU is like teach the teachers, I almost want to say, is learn everyone that comes here how to become a minister themselves, how to minister to others, and how to coach and navigate through all of that. I mean, we've seen, and I can just use the Wise Women Retreat, how everyone just, the ladies that organized it, how they just was so professional in everything, and that's exactly what we want to achieve with RMIOU, is have these ladies learn how to minister themselves. Because the thing is, and I'm sure that you'll agree with me, the thing is that we can all keep in our little bubbles, and just take and take and take and take all of this information that we get in. But when we really want to be blessed is when we take this information and we give it out, and we give it to someone else instead of just being fed the whole time, feeding others. And that is the aim of RMIOU. And I'm very excited to see, because we've got wonderful coaches there. We've got you, and we've got Adina, and we've got Isabella from Homegrown. So I'm very excited to see them grow as well, not it just be the three of you, but they're coming more ladies to teach. Yes, exactly. To teach courses in order for other ladies to teach them. So while we've concentrated on restoring your own marriage, what we want to do now is that you concentrate on restoring others. Not just their marriage, but help restoring their lives, So yes, that's the aim. And I've already spoken too much, but yes, that's the aim of RMIOU.
No, not at all, Yvonne. It was so nice hearing it. And I love the way that, I think that's the way I'm going to explain it. If anybody ever asks me from now on, that it's teach the teacher. Simple. And it's not just about, it's not going to just be me and Isabella and Adina, but we want more ladies to come along, because that is ministry. I mean, if we look at the ministry of the Lord, he expanded his ministry and he sent out his disciples. So, that's the same thing. That's what we want to do. So,
to make disciples.
Yes.
He didn't just send them to teach others, but to make disciples, and that was, that's just what we're supposed to be doing. Yes,
definitely. So I love that about the RMIOU. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So Micah, is there anything that, I did introduce you, but is there anything else you'd like to share with us about you quickly?
Yes, what I would like to say is the way that I got introduced to RMI Cape Town was basically through a radio station which they presented RMI, and Kezia was one of the presenters, as well as I think Yvonne was also part of that radio that presented RMI. So for me, it was like it just happened that night I was listening to the radio station and I was found myself also in a situation in my marriage where I felt like my husband was also not was unfaithful, and you find yourself in a situation where it's either you it's either you go for a divorce or you try to
Yeah.
work or to restore your marriage.
Mm.
And as you know, many of us look for that opportunity if you have trusted the Lord and if you have accepted the Lord as your savior. One of the principles also is that God hates divorce, as
Yeah.
he said. And that was one of my reasons why I was looking for some sort of information or some program or something just to be able to restore your marriage. And that is where I hear about it, and I gave my name to as at the end of the program it was stated also that we need to give our names and telephone numbers, and that is where I gave my telephone number and my name through. And then after a few months or so, then Kezia like sort of get hold of us, and that is how I joined the program.
Micah, thank you so much for sharing that. Zara also shared a little bit, you know, how she got into contact and CCFM. And, you know, for me, I was just telling Zara in the last one that it's just amazing, because here I am getting to interview you ladies, hey? And this was, what was it, Yvonne, a year or two back? Has it been 3 years
maybe
already?
2 years ago.
2 years.
Was it 2 years? And now, I mean, that we were on that radio station, and I am, you know, having you here. I mean, for me, every time I think about it, it's so amazing what he's done. And Micah, you know, I just want to say thank you so much just for sharing, because I was also in that desperate place, and also where my husband had committed adultery, and that was the reason why I ended up at the ministry as well, because I was so desperate. I was looking for anything to save my marriage, and somebody sent me the How God Can and Will Restore Your Marriage book, and I would say the rest was history. But I mean, I got into the resources, and then it became so much more than my marriage. It actually became more about my relationship with the Lord, and later on it, you know, evolved, and now I'm at a place where I love ministering to other women, you know, because I understand that hurt and that pain, and I want them to know that, you know, he doesn't only restore marriages, that he does, but he does so much more. There's this abundant life that we all can have in him and live in him. And so for me, that's the exciting bit. And that's why I love, you know, just speaking to you ladies and having these podcasts, because there's just so much to share. So I'm going to quickly go into, I've been asking the ladies the same 2 questions, and I'm going to read it again so that we know more or less what the topic of this podcast is. So basically, what I wanted to ask is if you can both just share one of the most important principles that you learned during the Wise Women Retreat and how it impacted your life, and also to tell us how you've been putting the principles that you learned in a Wise Woman, how you've been able to put them into practice, and the changes that it's made in your life knowing these principles. Now, I know both of you didn't only come to the retreat, but the both of you have been reading this book way before the retreat. I mean, Yvonne, you read this book years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been years, eh? But please just share, both of you, just share a little bit. So I'm going to, Yvonne, you please go first, and then, Micah, you can then just share after that.
Yes, so for me, the wise woman, and you said it so wisely, and I just want to quote what you said, Tara. You left a voice note today, and you said something very wisely, and I really want to quote what you said because I actually wrote it down. You know, it says here, and it's your quote. Okay. Finding the abundant life and finding your heavenly husband is what helps you through his love, through being with him and being close to him as a bride. Helps you to put the wise woman principles in practice, because it's not easy living as a wise woman every day, but with his love and living close to him as his bride, we are able to do it. And what I love about that is the fact that when I read that, it was like, of course, you know, I could have read the Wise Woman book 100 times over and it would have made no difference, because me having all those principles and seeing the principles and seeing, oh no, I'm a contentious woman, finding in my own strength to not be a contentious woman anymore means nothing. It's like filthy rags, you know. I would tire myself out. And I mean, I did try to do it in the flesh for a while, you know. I was tiring myself out because I was trying to be this perfect woman according to the wise woman, trying to implement the principles. But the thing is, it's like we're almost doing it the other way around, you know. It's almost like we need to find the abundant life and find him as our heavenly husband first, and then those principles that you now know because you've read it, those principles will fall into place because he's the one helping you. And through that, while I listened to your voice note today and I was thinking on the wise woman and the retreat and everything, it came to me that, wow, you know, we've got this book, which is a powerful book. And you can implement all of that. But if you do it in the flesh, it's just going to make you so tired, you know? But then when you get him as your heavenly husband, you know, and you have him and it goes, you know, the relationship just gets closer and closer. Then you'll see all of those principles sort of falling into place. You know, he'll remind you of one and you'll be like, oh, yes, I still need to do that. You know, can you help me? And then before you know it, he's helping you with it. And he's really doing, you know, all the work, and all you're basically doing is sitting back and enjoying his presence and his love. But there are some things, like especially something, and it wasn't even in the Wise Woman book, that really helped me the weekend of the Wise Woman retreat. It was, I've really been struggling with keeping my children safe, you know, and I'm not talking about physically safe, but emotionally safe, because they go to their father's place and they hear things and things happen, and it's things that doesn't necessarily happen in my house, you know, so they're not used to it every day. And it really bothered me that my children are being put through this. And I remember when we just started the Wise Woman, I think it was the thorn and the rose exercise that Kezia did with us. And it really touched my heart, you know, because that was it. And then I didn't even do anything. That was just it, you know. We gave it to him there and then, and we said what it was. And then later on, someone else, not even me, someone else asked a question. And Adina answered the question out of, I think it was Finding the Abundant Life or Living the Abundant Life, but it's the chapter on his best protection or something like that. And that was exactly the answer I was looking for. I mean, I've read Finding the Abundant Life. I've done the course, but I can't remember that part was in there, you know. I couldn't remember that. But then hearing Adina reading it, it was like everything just fell into place for me. And I got the answer I was looking for. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, you know. It's like I trusted him with it and I just left it. And later on in the week, and I think it was the last day, you know, and we probably did the roses exercise, if I'm not mistaken, the Friday. I can't remember, but I think it may have been Friday. Could have been, but it doesn't matter. But then by Sunday, you know, it was like, there's my answer. There's exactly what I was looking for, you know. And this in just a weekend. So how amazing could it be? And now every time I can remind myself of that, you know, every time something happens and I'm like, oh, I didn't want my children to go through this. I'm like, you know what? You've got their best interest at heart, you know. Why am I worried when they are your children and you are the one that's taking care of them? So yes, that's in a nutshell, you know. I hope I haven't taken more time at all, Micah.
No,
So,
not
yes,
at all. Not at
in
all,
a nutshell, what I wanted to share.
Not at all. Thank you for sharing that. And it's amazing how when we get a visual illustration, like Kezia also did that illustration where she was throwing things, you know, just normal everyday things, clothes and a hairbrush and, you know, things on the ground, and how that was that contentious woman that's just spewing. She's just, everything's coming out of her mouth. It's almost like it's getting thrown out. So I think that was really helpful for all of us, and I love the way that she shared it. And the thorns, the rose with the thorns, we all have that thorn that just, you know, it's just pricking us all the time. It hurts, but it's amazing. I'm just so glad that with that illustration you were able to give that to him. And it's funny how it just sometimes takes something like that, a little illustration, or for somebody else to come and come and share it in a different way for you to get it, and
Yes.
and then the healing takes place, and so quickly too. Hey, that is just,
Yes, for
it's just
sure.
him. That's definitely him. So Micah, please share. So you know what I asked, and I have shared it with you. So I'm sure you please share with us.
Yes, first of all, what like really interests me in the book, how God can restore your marriage, because that is what I found first, basically, when I started with
Yes,
RMI.
okay.
And that book really saved me to the ground. I was like, feel literally the Lord is slapping me from the one side to the other side.
Hi there, ladies. Please come and visit us at hopeatlast.com. Click on blog, where we share daily praise reports, ministry information, lessons, and ministry resources. You can sign up to receive our daily newsletter. You can click on free courses for our free marriage courses, and you can click on our give button, which will take you to PayPal, where you can donate and give and sow into the fertile soil of restoring marriages.